MTG Angel here. This video is directed towards people who are just entering the Magic the Gathering sealed collectible space. Maybe they were someone who dabbled in Pokemon collecting, or they're knees deep. Maybe there's someone who has played Magic the Gathering for a long time, or even a short time, or is just getting interested. Maybe it's something like Universes Beyond pulling you in, and maybe it's something like Pokemon pulling you in, and you might have seen stuff like Final Fantasy and seen how those boxes have gone to the moon. You might not have even known that some of these boxes are just going up 200-300% within a couple months from release. And yes, stuff like that is happening with lots of Magic the Gathering sealed. You might be asking, what's the best way to really jump in? What's the best set to buy? What should I buy right now? And I'm going to say a couple things. I don't think there is ever going to be a best set to buy, including Final Fantasy. Obviously, Final Fantasy is a good start, but it does have problems where there's, it costs like $1,200 a box to start collecting sealed booster boxes, collector boxes of Final Fantasy. And yes, the product that you should be collecting is the collector box for any of these Magic the Gathering sets. Where there are other products, the collector box is going to be the easiest one to discuss the way the market moves on. So, I think the first thing you have to do is disconnect the idea of there's going to be like a best product, because it's kind of hard to predict the price movements of all these different products, where they all move for different reasons. Some products move because they're playable cards, but that's something that the Pokemon market doesn't really have to deal with. It's not really a playable game as much as Magic the Gathering. Some products move because of the art inside of it, and that's going to be a main driving factor for a lot of the collector boxes for Magic the Gathering. And then some move just because there's not that much there's not that many in the world. Where, let's say you had 1,000 collector boxes in the world and people were destroying them, and now you're down to like 500 or 400, 300 or 100. Let's say you're down to the last 100 boxes. At that point, it doesn't really even matter what's inside. All that matters is the box is rare, super rare. So that's kind of how these boxes even skyrocket in price, is because there's just less and less in the world, and on release they're everywhere. The box may actually be worth, let's say, like $1,000 a box, but until all the product clears out from the market, that'll never be realized. So the best way that I would proceed is to look. There's a couple of points you need to do. Look at your budget. You don't have to FOMO into the most expensive product, like, oh my god, Final Fantasy's pumping, or oh my god, Lord of the Rings special, and then you look at the price of the box and it's like $2,000 or $1,000. It got there, and there's people who bought in much earlier prices. So look how much money you have, and there's going to be a good product. Honestly, any collector box you buy is going to be good in the long run. Some, depending on the way they're engineered, are going to take a while. So I would look at boxes that were made 5-Rexy and after. I would say a great candidate would be something like Brothers War, where this box is only $300 and it does have serialized cards. Now, there are a lot of Brothers War boxes out there, but on the same hand, this product is getting quite old. And if you know anything about the Pokemon market, or something like a collectible getting old, the older it gets, the higher this stuff can run, because this stuff will never be reprinted, and eventually just the natural attrition of the world. And then like I said, a box could be worth a lot, but right now there's a lot out there, even compared to, comparing it to like 1 year later from now. So even today's price at $300 is pretty good for a collector box as old as Brothers War, with as much future as Magic the Gathering collector boxes have. So that's a box I would recommend people to buy, is Brothers War, where you can pick up a box for a pretty good price. Another thing you have to realize is what I said earlier. You don't want to be opening these boxes. The idea is not to flip. The estimated value of Brothers War could be $400. But then what you actually get is about $200 of cards, and then now you actually have to spend time to list those cards, and you know, you've lost money on not only pulling the cards, you're losing money on listing the cards, you're losing time because then you got to ship the cards. So opening the box is not the play. Keeping it sealed is, because that sealed box is so easy to just throw up on Facebook Marketplace, throw up on TCG Player, throw it up on eBay, and sell it to someone. It doesn't take as much time, and it's such a high money move that, like, let's say a box goes from like $200 to $3,000. I'm sure you'll find a way to make it happen. And as long as you only have one box to sell, I'm sure it's not going to be that bad for you. So keep it sealed. Don't, you know, you got to fight the urge to open up this stuff. You don't really want to know what's inside. You want to try to get the value. And the most reliable way, tried and tested and true, is just to keep it sealed and sit on it. So I think that's pretty much it. I think I just wanted to give a bit more insight of, like, hey, you can honestly pick whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a specific set. Maybe look around a little bit and just pick something. You could even just spin a wheel and buy something that says collector booster, and you'll be chilling. You'll be straight chilling. So that's it. You know, please give a like, please give a comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's any box that you bought. Let me know if you're new and what game you're coming from, or what background you're coming from. And let's look out a couple years and keep in touch and see what's going on. So have a good one, y'all. Stay safe. City Games. Peace.